Well, here we are, 18th day of March. It's Irv Wagner's birthday. So wherever you're hiding out at, Irv, happy birthday. It's hard to believe that you're not still around here. So you're only deceased if people quit thinking about you, and I ain't going to quit thinking about you. So have a good day today. Anyhow, what we're going to do, I got to pump this pond down. With all that 20 inches of rain we had last August, we developed a leak in it. It's not too deep, but it's on the dam, and I'm going to pump this down and hopefully find the leak, get it repaired, because there was a lot of water that came in here last fall. Like I say, it was 20 inches of rain in a little over 30 days. So I'll get this pump running and see what we can get done. Yeah, you can see how it came down there. And we're going to address that issue there. See if we can pump that down a couple feet. What we got down here is the back side of the pond, and right down here is where I found it. It was forming ice this winter, and it's got a hole right there seeping out. That's the back side of the dam. So somehow it's got a channel in there, but anyhow, that's not a whole lot of water now, but when it had a lot more pressure in it, it was coming out pretty quick. It's been about 8 months from August to March, and it went down about 3 feet there, and that's the culprit right there. If we're going to take these banks, we're going to bring them in over the top of this, put some bentonite down in here. I got 3,000 pounds of bentonite up here, and hopefully we can get that shut off. So that's our plan. Sometimes it works and sometimes it don't, but there's this one. We'll just get with it and rework the back side of this dam and pack it down tighter and pack the front down tighter also. So let's go get the pumping. Yeah, this is one of those things you might want to rent. It's about $1,000 if you bought it, but renting is definitely cheaper right there. But, so it'll lower it down. Yeah, it said it's 1236 on that watch. So they said it, I couldn't believe it. It said it pumped 12,000 gallons in an hour. I think they got that a little miscalculated. 1,200 would sound like a lot. 12,000, of course, there's a lot of water coming out of there. So I wish I had something to do with this water. Anyhow, it was easier to pump it out. I could have dug a ditch in it and lowered it with the skid steer, but then I just had to pack it back in there. This way I'm getting the same purpose. So it's just another thing in land maintenance that you got to do. That can only get worse. So hopefully I'm going to beat the spring rains and it'll get filled back up. But like I say, it took 8 months to get down to that level since August. So that's where it's, you know, it's time to see if we can't fix it. Like I said, it's 12:30 basically, so we'll see how much it goes down in an hour. It's right there at the shoreline right now. So we'll look at that in an hour from now. Yeah, we got to get these fences pulled down away from our trees. See that little arbor vitae there? We never fenced that one. But this one over here, you can't cuss the deer. You're in their backyard. They munched on that one a little bit. I'll take you up and show you this other deal. Yeah, if you don't fence them deer out, they'll really raise havoc with these pine trees. Here was one I found out the hard way. You see, a couple years ago, it got in there and basically took that out. But if that tree would grow, that'd be a good place if I'm around. You can put your tree stand in there. But that's what you're trying to prevent with these fences, and it works pretty good. I had this little bush here, and as you can see, it got grazed on pretty heavy. That's the first time it ever did that. We had that 12 inches of snow, and that green was sticking out of the top, so they decided that would be dinner. And I hope it'll come back, you know, but part of it's alive. But oh, that's just part of having trees out of their element into deer's element. But you can avoid it, but you got to build fencing and get it fenced off prior to the October when they start rubbing, because when they start rubbing, they don't really care what they're rubbing on, and they like those nice eastern pine trees. They're soft, and if they'd get in there and literally destroy them, I can see why Christmas tree farmers have a cow. Yeah, here's a nice little tool to take these T-posts out. I found this last year. It's pretty simple. You just put it on there, start ratcheting it out of there. Yeah, it works pretty slick. Anyhow, pull those posts right up out of there. Just like a little jack. You can take a lot of them posts out there in a hurry just by hooking it on there and a couple pulls the post right up out of there. Something that all landowners ought to have if you're going to put snow fence up or something like that. It sure beats, the ground's a little soft right now. You put a lot of tracks in it with the tractor or the skid steer trying to pick them up out of there. This works pretty simple. It's later in the day here, March 18th. I'm going to take you around. I'm going to show you the devastation and the grazing pressure that was on this field. Now, if you remember last year, we had quite a bit of corn left and a whole lot of beans left. This year, we ain't got nothing left. So, the deer really got on it. It was pretty cold there in November. Then it was, we had a pretty cold February. But they've gleaned this field, and I'll show you here in a second. You can see the power plant, all the tops of the sorghum has been eaten off, been beat down. I walked through that. I didn't find any beans, any antlers. And this bean field, you zoom down in there, there ain't a bean left. I'm gonna walk on over here to this other far field. Okay, we're on this far field. You've seen a lot of bucks on there in January. There's absolutely nothing left but bean stalk. The pods are eaten, the beans are completely gone. Last year at this time I could have combined this field. There was that many beans left. This year there's zilch left. They really came in and did what it was supposed to do. But you can't have enough acreage. And I realize this is pretty big food plots for most of you guys. I understand that, but what I'm trying to say, they'll eat you out of house and home. That's what you plant it for, to sustain their health and stuff. And the nice thing about this is so much better than a feeder, because a feeder just runs 24/7 and it never runs out of food. Well, the deer keep feeding in that same area. Whereas out here, once this is cleaned off, they move on. So chronic wasting disease is not going to be an issue here, because with a feeder, or they just keep dumping the grain on the field or in one spot, and all the deer in that area come there. If one's got a disease, they're all going to get it. And on these big food plots, that's not going to happen. So let's get to mowing the corn down, and I'll take you along, and we'll look for antlers. I'll show you how to do it the Mealey way. Yeah, now what we're going to use to mow this corn down is my bush hog. I had a fine gentleman ask me why I had the rotary cutter, the brush cutter on my skid steer, and I already had a rotary mower for my tractor. Well, I explained it to him that when I get in those hills, it's a little more risky with the tractor sliding down the hill and stuff, getting wedged in with the trees. But out here on the food plots, that bush hog is the way to go. At no time do I ever want to act like I got a whole lot of money, because I got, let's see, how do I want to put it? I got a whole lot less brains than I got money. You're talking to a gentleman that grew up in a house where you carried the family pot out, dumped it in the outhouse, and on the way back got water, fortunately with a different pot, but it was only 50 feet from where you took a poop in the ground. So I guess sometimes I'm full of shit by nature if you're drinking water that you're pooping in the ground 50 feet away from. So that was my fault being reared up, but that's how life was. No time will I ever try to intimidate anybody with, look at what I got. I ain't that kind of guy. I wear my shoes till there ain't no soles left. And you can see what kind of clothes I get. I got miles out of them. But sometimes you do have to spend money to make things happen. And that's the only reason I spend money out here, is to try to make it happen and make it happen fast, because I don't have a lot of time to do this, because time is money to me. But anyhow, let's get to mowing this corn down. Well, last May you helped plant it. Today we're going to mow it down. I'm going to mow it down one row at a time so I can look in there to see if I find any shed. So come on along, we'll mow some corn. Still looking off to my right for sheds. We'll keep looking off over in here and see if we can find any. This makes it pretty nice because you're up high looking down. We'll take one row at a time. That way we can keep a watch for those. A little noisy. Turn it down. But this is the way to look for them. One row at a time. You help plant it. Now we'll see it. It'd be pretty cool if we found a set of sheds in here. There's a good trail coming into here, but no sheds so far. We'll back up, pull this out a little bit. Get your motor running! Head out in the cornfield, looking for the Mealey. antlers, or whatever may come my way. Get your power, take off running. Wind her up and let's go. Born to live in the wild, born to be wild. We did get this all mowed off, and wasn't a shed in there. And it's really funny. This is the second year in a row that I've found those sheds in this cornfields. Or bean fields, so far as that goes. And I found one set. They were right over by that cedar tree there, and I found them on like the 20th of January. I wasn't even looking for them. But that old theory about hunting the food source, well, it's a place to start, but it's no guarantee, that's for damn sure. Well, that's it from Non-Typical Norwalkian. Born to be wild. Right on.